Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review, specifically another WrestleMania review. But before we get into that, we gotta address something from the last review. Now, I put it in a pinned comment in that video, that being my review of Brett versus Shawn at WrestleMania 12, but I figured I might as well address it here on camera as well. Oh, I am so embarrassed. How could I forget to talk about Shawn Michaels' iconic zipline entrance down probably one of the greatest, most iconic WrestleMania entrances of all time? How did I miss it? Now, granted, I think I know how. Usually, when I go to these matches, I usually skip the entrances only because I want to get right to the action. But sometimes I do watch the entrances. And in this case, I really should have. I should have remembered Shawn Michaels' entrance because it's probably one of the best WrestleMania entrances ever. Like Shawn Michaels, he is known as Mr. WrestleMania, not just because of the matches, but also because of the entrances. Like Shawn Michaels definitely knows for sure how to make an entrance. It's probably like whether you choose this entrance that he had at WrestleMania 12 or his entrance at WrestleMania 25, where he's like ascending down from like the from the top and everything. And it's like Shawn definitely knows how to make an entrance. But I wanted to get that out of the way. I totally missed it in my last review, so thankfully my debt to society has been repaid. But now, getting on to this match. Now, oh, and I guess speaking of entrances, it's hard to talk about WrestleMania season without bringing up The Undertaker, or the Phenom, the Dead Man, the man with the longest WrestleMania streak in history, a whopping 21 wins with 0 losses. His at 21 consecutive WrestleManias, although he did miss 2, but at 21 consecutive WrestleManias, as Undertaker picked up the win. And so we try to every year, or when I do these WrestleMania reviews, because we gotta incorporate some Undertaker matches, and I actually have a few this year. And I think, not to toot my own horn, but I think I picked some pretty good ones. So stay tuned for that. And this is the first of them. Now, between Brett versus Owen, that we've reviewed already at WrestleMania 10, and then Matt versus Jeff at WrestleMania 25, that we reviewed last week, there's been a lot of sibling rivalries at WrestleMania. A lot of times, families battle each other, and sometimes families fight. Right? It's how it goes. And sadly, the Phenom, was no exception to that, having to take on his own younger brother, Kane. And so, what would happen when the Undertaker would finally be face to face, or I guess more accurately, face to chest with his younger brother Kane? Let's find out. I'm of course talking about Undertaker versus Kane at WrestleMania 14, the first of 2 matches. And spoiler alert, Wednesday will be WrestleMania 20. But as for this match, as always, I am not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had a pretty alright time with this match. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time I've watched this match in its entirety. I think I've watched bits and pieces of this match previously. It was one of the matches featured in the Attitude Era mode in WWE 13. If W2K26 doesn't have an Attitude Era mode, I don't want it. It's or at least not the Monday Night Wars version. And I actually haven't bought 2K26 yet. Will I at some point? I don't know. But the ragdoll physics look kind of cool this time around. But nevertheless, without further ado, let's get right into this match. Now, of course, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know this works, or at least you have an idea of how this works. If you haven't, however, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match and kind of how we got here. So, at Bad Blood 1997, another match I reviewed here on the channel, Undertaker fought Shawn Michaels in the first ever Hell in a Cell match. Speaking of Shawn Michaels, but Undertaker and Shawn Michaels competed in the first ever Hell in a Cell match, in what was a very good match, of course. But it was also marked with the debut of Kane. The lights went out, the flames went up, and Kane made his way down to the ring. That's gotta be Kane, said, as I believe Vince McMahon. But like Kane came down, ripped the door off the hinges, attacked the referee, stood face to face with his brother, The Undertaker, or at least close as he could get to face, because as they pointed out, as they put over in a big way, Kane much bigger than The Undertaker, or which is pretty crazy to think about. Like, hey, how many times up to that point, how many times had Undertaker really encountered someone who was bigger than him or taller than him? It hadn't been that many. The last person I can really think of is maybe Giant Gonzalez, but nevertheless, as Kane showed up, attacked his brother, pretty much handed the match to Shawn Michaels, and so now Kane has been and trying to Kane and Paul Bearer, who Paul Bearer, for weeks up to that point, I mean, and for months even, had been and teasing that, oh, he's gonna spoil a big secret about the Undertaker. He's gonna tell everybody a big secret about the Undertaker. He's gonna kind of expose the Undertaker. And sure enough, he reveals that Undertaker started a fire in his childhood home, and it killed his parents and his younger brother. But as it turns out, his brother Kane survived the fire, and so Kane came down and attacked the Undertaker at Bad Blood, like I mentioned. So Paul Bearer and Kane have been trying to goad Undertaker into a fight. Hey, Undertaker has refused, though. He made a vow to his parents that he would not face his younger brother Kane, and he also denied starting the fire that killed his parents. But eventually, he Undertaker is taken out by Kane in the Royal Rumble, and Oh, or I should say, he attacked Kane at the Royal Rumble, or Kane attacked Undertaker at the Royal Rumble, and had the casket ablaze and everything. So Undertaker was out for a little bit. They had been teasing an alliance before then, so I guess kind of testing the waters for what would become the Brothers of Destruction later on in the year. But for the time being, Undertaker was taken out. Eventually, he returned, and it was revealed that he went to hell, talked to his parents, and pretty much told them that he'd have to break his vow and fight his younger brother Kane. So Undertaker and Kane are set to meet here at WrestleMania, and I do like in the build-up how much Kane is being featured. The fact that he also has supernatural powers similar to the Undertaker. So, Undertaker and Kane like they're building that up in a very big way. Hey, which is really cool and really building up Kane as like this big force, this big tall obstacle in more ways than one, both like metaphorical and literal. But building Kane up as this big obstacle that Undertaker has to conquer, or that being fighting his own younger brother. And speaking of Brett and Owen, you can tell how kind of pulling in some of the stuff from that playbook and putting it into this match, such as Undertaker being apprehensive to fight his brother Kane. And I guess also speaking of entrances, his Pete Rose is the guest ring announcer, and Kane shows up and tombstones him. So it starts a tradition of Kane beating the crap out of Pete Rose. And then Undertaker comes out not just with the Druids, but to O Fortuna at first, like as the Druids are coming out, and then Undertaker walks through. It's one of the coolest entrances. If I said Shawn Michaels has the best WrestleMania entrances, Undertaker is probably a close second. This is just one of many iconic WrestleMania entrances for The Undertaker. Hell, even at the same WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels came down from the sky, from like way up on the platform. Undertaker raised up from the platform, like Shawn Michaels descending from heaven, Undertaker coming up from hell. Like just some really cool entrances over the years. But nevertheless, now that the extra stuff is out of the way, now the rambling's out of the way, it's time for more rambling, except this time about the match. So starting with what I liked. Pretty solid back and forth. I do like how they're giving Kane quite a bit of offense against the Undertaker, and Undertaker has to like a not fully come from behind, but really having to contend against his brother who is going after them. And I do like how when it comes to this match, Undertaker or all bets are off, all qualms about him fighting his younger brother totally out the window. Now Undertaker wants to destroy his younger brother, and we see it as they very much go after each other, and I do like, hey, speaking of how they're building up Kane in this big way, I like how almost every time Undertaker tries to mount the comeback, mount the offense, Kane has an answer for it and usually snuffs him out, including when Undertaker dives to the outside, and going for like a huge dive. Kane totally moves out of the way, and Undertaker just crashes into the table, takes out the Spanish commentators as well. Like one of the nastiest bumps. Like it looked kind of scary. I can't lie, um, but anyway, besides that, great back and forth between the two. Ultimately, Undertaker does pick up the win, and Kane does nail the tombstone of his own onto Undertaker, but Undertaker kicks out. But Undertaker, it takes three tombstones, and a chokeslam, but it takes three tombstones to put away Kane, and the first time Kane kicks out of the tombstone, they put over in this big way. They were like in shock, talking about how nobody's kicked out of the tombstone. Now I can't fully verify that because I'm not as familiar with this era, but please do let me know, or I guess eras previous. But do let me know if that's the case. Is Kane the first to kick out of the tombstone? Now WWF/WWE has been known to exaggerate before, so it could be wrong, but they do put it over in a big way. And then him kicking out of the second tombstone is also put over in a major way to really show that it's going to take a lot to put Kane away. But ultimately, Undertaker does nail the final tombstone on Kane in order to pick up the win, and just to be attacked immediately afterwards by Paul Bearer, and then also Kane in with the chair. But Undertaker does sit back up and like get back up. So even though Kane and Paul Bearer do get their heat back, Undertaker does still somewhat get to stand tall. So kind of the best of both worlds in a lot of ways. Yeah. So pretty good stuff for the most part, and and you hear me mention it a lot, but it bears repeating, building up Kane in such this big way, like not just within the match, within the movements and everything in the match, but also on commentary. He really putting over how much Kane is this big full horse, this obstacle that Undertaker has to overcome, and how Undertaker's being dominant, Undertaker's being manhandled. I mean, Mabel was a thing, but they still put over like, oh, nobody's manhandled the Undertaker quite like this. They've done that quite a few times. In Undertaker's career before and since when it comes to that. They even did something similar for like Great Khali when he became a thing about a decade or so later. But Undertaker does get the win, and but Kane and Paul Bearer stand tall for their moment. Undertaker stands tall for his moment. So everybody wins in a lot of ways. In terms of what I didn't quite like as much about the match, if I had to find something, and for starters, Jerry Lawler or again rears his ugly head on commentary. I don't know why I've been having such an issue with Jerry Lawler as of late, but hey, thankfully this one's not as egregious as the other ones, but it does get pretty annoying. And then that dive from Undertaker, or like I said, it did look a little scary. This one's not really a downside, but there's a part of me that thinks maybe Kane should have gotten the win. And hey, hear me out. I know it sounds crazy, but the thing is, if you're gonna build Kane up in a big way, like hey, have him be this next big monster, this next really big thing, why not have him get the win over his brother when they finally go one on one here at WrestleMania? Now, granted, this means the streak ends way earlier than it eventually does in 2014, of course. Um, but but I feel like Kane getting the win here, I don't think would have been the worst thing. Like Undertaker, I think would have been fine. Like, hey, Undertaker is someone who's been established up to this point. We know the Undertaker. He's lost before. He's won before. He'd be fine. It'd be a big boost for Kane and his career and everything. Now, granted, in hindsight, seeing the trajectory that Kane goes on for the rest of his career, he didn't necessarily need it, but we do. But I do feel like Kane getting the win here, I think, wouldn't have been necessarily a bad thing. But nevertheless, Undertaker does get the win. Eventually, Undertaker and Kane do form the Brothers of Destruction. They kind of do Vince McMahon's bidding. Eventually, Undertaker also turns heel, and Paul Bearer does turn on Kane, in which Undertaker admits that he did start the fire that killed his parents and scarred Kane. So that means Paul Bearer was telling the truth the whole time. So go figure. But also, it's crazy between that and then Katie Vick later on. Man, the Brothers of Destruction have been some weird stuff. But what can you do? But what happens when they eventually face 6 years later at WrestleMania 20? We'll find out next time. But in the meantime, when it comes to this match, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every single time I upload videos, so you never miss an upload. It is also worth mentioning, really quick, that even though they do eventually team up, they also do face a couple more times, including in the first ever Inferno match at Unforgiven in Your house. So they do face off there. So things far from over between The Undertaker and Kane. And obviously, when it comes to their two careers in WWE, the rest is history. But thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on the social notifications so you know every single time I upload a video so you never miss an upload. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on this match, my review of the match. Do you like the match? Do you like my review of the match? Let me know. I am going to mention it here. I'm planning on doing a video on my social medias later on tonight, but I should also mention it here. We do have a Google Doc, like a Google form for match recommendations. I'll put the link to like the link tree where it should be there. I'll put that in the description of this video. But if you do have a match recommendation, sorry, there's a fly buzzing around, so I'm gonna take care of that in just a moment. But if you do have a match recommendation, a match that you want to see me review on the channel, feel free to put it in the Google Doc, and I will definitely be sure to get to it. Just so I end up reviewing matches that you guys want to see here on the channel. So that'll be in the description. You can check that out. You can add a match to that. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Rest in peace. Okay.